Welcome to another edition of this week's Parashat portion. This week's Parashat is Parashat Korah. In Parashat Korah, we have an unbelievable situation. We have Korah, he approaches Moshe Rabbeinu with his people. He has 250 people gathered together and they accuse Moshe of taking all the honor for himself, giving the kehunah to his brother, and he has the leadership, and they say it's not fair. We want some of those privileges. We want the leadership. We want to be Kohanim also. It's not fair. Why are you giving it all to your brother and taking everything for yourselves? It's selfish of you. Share it with the people. And Korah thought he was so right, but yet he was very, very wrong. Hashem told Moshe what to do. Moshe didn't just take things for himself and take kavod. Moshe was the most anav person of all. It's funny that he happens to pick on the one midah that we know Moshe was the greatest in is anavut, in being humble. He accused Moshe of the opposite, of being haughty. Shows you, mahloke, whenever you're arguing, people could do irrational things, and they could pick something that is totally the opposite. Moshe Rabbeinu is humble, and he's calling him haughty, right? You could take someone that's not a jealous person at all, and all of a sudden you pick something and you call him jealous. It doesn't make sense. But nothing makes sense once we're involved in an argument. There's two fellows that are part of Korach's rebellion, Datan and Aviram. Datan and Aviram, they're characters that we know from back in the times of Mitzrayim, when Moshe Rabbeinu, he put a Mitzri to death because the Mitzri was hitting another Jew. And he said the Shema Meforash, special name of Hashem, and the Mitzri was dead right on the spot. Datan and Aviram, they saw this, and they reported him to the authorities. They reported Moshe Rabbeinu to Paro. Now Paro wants to kill Moshe Rabbeinu, and Moshe Rabbeinu had to flee Mitzrayim for his life. He was afraid of being killed. And he had to flee for many, many years. He left to Midian. I believe it was about 50 years that he was out of the picture, without his people, without anything. He had to just be a loner and start all over there in Midian. So Moshe Rabbeinu was not too fond of this Datan and Aviram crew, and he has a history with them, a very, very bitter history with them. And yet they're part of this rebellion, and they step up and they want to be part of this and fight with Moshe and say, you're taking everything for yourself. Moshe Rabbeinu should be furious at these people, especially these two, Datan and Aviram. It's not enough that they caused him all this suffering that he went through for so many years. Now they have to stick their noses in again and bother Moshe Rabbeinu again. But how does Moshe Rabbeinu act? Beautiful. Moshe Rabbeinu, he made an effort to make peace with Datan and Aviram, the Gemara in Sanhedrin says. And he tried very hard to make peace with them. If Moshe Rabbeinu could try and make peace with these two guys that tortured him for so many years, don't we have an obligation to make peace with people that have hurt us in the past? And not just say, oh, you know what, he was wrong, so therefore I'm not stepping up to make peace with him. That's not the way Moshe Rabbeinu worked. Moshe Rabbeinu knew 1000% that these guys were wrong. But still Moshe Rabbeinu tried to make peace with them. Their answer was no. Their answer was, we'd rather gouge our eyes out than make peace with you. The isur for having a machloket fester and just brew comes from this pasuk of Velo tihye ke Korach b'adato. Don't be like Korach and his nation. The rabbis learn out that it should be that you don't become into a machloket from this pasuk. Now, it goes even a little bit deeper. The Mishnah lists two types of arguments. They say there's an argument that could be l'shem shamayim, for a mitzvah, proper argument, and then there's an argument that's lo l'shem shamayim. And the example that they give for l'shem shamayim, they say, like Hillel and Shammai. We always know that Bet Hillel, Bet Shammai, they're always arguing. It seems like they were enemies. The way that every halacha, every Hillel says this, Shammai says that. Hillel says this, Shammai says that. What's going on over there? It's a machlok l'shem shamayim. They were really very, very good and close friends. But when it came to arguing in halacha and Torah, that's what they felt. They had different opinions. So it says that's a machlok l'shem shamayim, and a machloket shelo l'shem shamayim is ke Korach v'adato, like Korach and his people. The question is like this. It says, when you're talking about a mahloket that's l'shem shamayim, we list the two sides, Hillel and Shammai. But when we list the argument that's lo l'shem shamayim, all we say is Korach v'adato. It should say Korach against Moshe. What's the two teams here? Korach and Moshe. We're only saying Korach and his people. We mentioned the two teams by Hillel and Shammai. We say Hillel is one side, Shammai is the other side. So why, when we're talking about a mahloket, shelo l'shem shamayim, we're only saying one side, and we're not saying which two teams are versing each other? The answer is that when it came to Korach mahloket, a mahloket shelo l'shem shamayim, it's a one-sided mahloket. Moshe Rabbeinu, he didn't do anything. He didn't want to argue. He didn't try to argue back and prove his point and everything. He didn't. It was a one-sided argument. They were fighting with themselves. They built all this hatred and jealousy up amongst themselves, and that's what they came. They had no real ammunition against Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu said, I'm not going to deal with these people. I'm not going to try to fight with these people. They're standing on nothing. I know I'm right. So therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu, he knows he's right, and he says that these people, I know that they're wrong, but I don't care. He tried to make peace with them. He didn't try to say, you know what, I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm going to prove you that I'm right, I'm going to prove you that you're wrong. No. All he did was he kept quiet, and he says, this is going to be a one-sided machloket. All I'm going to try to do is make peace. There's a lot of times where there's a fight between neighbors, a fight between family members, different types of people. And they all want to say, hey, I wasn't wrong. Why should I apologize? Why should I text them I'm sorry? Why should I be the one to say I'm sorry first? Let them. I'm older, I'm this. Right? They have all the reasons why to say this machloket should continue on because I am not the wrong one. They should step up first. But we see from Moshe Rabbeinu, it's not like that. That's not the way machloket works. The goal is to get machloket to stop. Is there anybody more respectable than Moshe Rabbeinu, the leader of Klal Yisrael? And he was willing to lower himself. So therefore, an older sibling, a parent, or whoever, it doesn't matter. They also should be able to lower themselves and say, I'm sorry, or just end the machloket, try to make peace however they can. It doesn't matter who you are, what your stature is, whatever it is, you are supposed to take it upon yourself to try to end machloket. Whether that be between you and somebody else, or there's different people that are arguing. You should try to step in and do your job to make the peace. There's a story that was told to a rabbi. He says like this, that there was a guy, he went to read his newspaper every morning, and he sees his newspaper is very used up. It even had some coffee stains on it. So he suspected his neighbor of taking the newspaper early in the morning. And it was true. He stood out there, he woke up an hour early, and he saw that the newspaper was taken in the morning at 6 o'clock, and it was brought back 45 minutes later, and that's what happened every single day. He flipped out on the neighbor. How dare you, you steal, you take my paper. What is it? He says, the neighbor says, hey, what's the big deal? You didn't lose anything. You could still read it. I didn't take anything from you. You weren't reading it at 6 in the morning anyway. And this man was furious. And he said, I want to take you to a din Torah. And he went to the rabbi. And he says, the story, what happened? He says, I want to take him to a din Torah. He stole my newspaper for years. And the rabbi said, you might think I'm crazy, but try this. Buy him a subscription to that newspaper. He says, what? Buy him a subscription? Are you crazy? He's stealing from me. And now I'm going to buy him something? But the rabbi was a very respectable rabbi, and he was able to get the message through to him, and he went and did that, and he bought a subscription to the newspaper for his neighbor. And months went by, and he says, that was the best money I ever spent. He says, from that money, I was able to stop the mahloket between me and my neighbor, and we were able to become close friends. And you live next to a neighbor, you see them every day. Who wants to have that for an extra $20, whatever it is, to be able to stop the machloket? What a worthy investment. The Chafetz Chaim, he says that living costs money. Buying lulav, etrog, Shabbat, Yom Tov, all these different mitzvot, they cost money. But we know it's deducted from our account. It's okay. We're going to be taken care of. Whatever we spend on our Shabbat and mitzvot, we push ourselves. It's not cheap to eat kosher and do all these kind of things. But we push ourselves, we say we know it's going to be taken care of by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Chafetz Chaim says that we all should set aside a shalom fund. We all should have money set aside just for those times where the money can solve the machloke, where the money could bring shalom. This is very important for a husband and wife. I have tried this, I do try it, and it works wonders. It's a beautiful thing to do. I take a little money and I put it aside every month. And I say, whenever there's something that, it's too much to ask for, I'm getting frustrated, it sounds like extra, whatever it is, okay. Don't fight about it, we take it from the Shalom Fund. And it solves really a lot of machlokas. There's so many machlokas about money, and this could really take away a lot of the stress and relieve stress. There was even a guy that I know that he was owed a lot of money, and he went to Bet Din, and the guy wouldn't pay him, and it was a whole machloket, and somebody stepped up to the plate, and he says, I want to solve this machloket. And he put down $10,000 just for the two sides to stop fighting. What a beautiful thing. That man will be paid back. He'll be paid back the money. He'll be paid back a lot of reward in Olam Haba. So we all should try and put aside a shalom fund in order to stop the machloket, and always know that we have to stop the machloket no matter how we feel, no matter how high we are, and it's not respectable for us to lower ourselves. Put all of it aside. Learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. We all want to learn from Moshe Rabbeinu how to handle our lives and how to handle machloket. B'ezrat Hashem, we should only see shalom. Shabbat shalom.